talking about today, James?
So today we're going to talk about Kubernetes security.
Okay, so what's involved in securing your Kubernetes cluster?
Okay, so when we start using Kubernetes, what we've got to be conscious of is all the additional attack vectors that come into play.
Of course.
Okay, so this is our cluster here.
Yep.
Okay, when we think about securing that cluster, our efforts begin right out here.
Okay.
Okay, so when I mentioned to you Kubernetes, one of the first things that probably springs to mind is containers, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so the first thing we need is a hardened container image, similar to what we would have in the IaaS space, where we essentially, we build a golden image,
Yep.
we harden that image, and make it available to application teams for consumption to run their workloads.
Makes sense.
Okay, we do the same in in a containerized environment, and we store that image within a registry.
Okay.
Okay. So this registry is essentially our first line of defense. Okay, so in this registry, what we'll actually do is static container analysis on the image. So using things like the built-in Defender and ACR, okay, we'll scan images for security defaults. Okay, once we've got that hardened image, okay, we then need to think about, runtime security, getting that container from a static image to an actual running instance container as a pod in Kubernetes.
Yeah, big topic, right?
Huge topic, okay? The first line that we need to think about securing is actually, authenticating with this thing to deploy this thing.
Yeah.
Okay? We typically use a lot of cloud managed services, and typically, by default, Kube APIs are exposed to the internet.
Not great.
Okay, so this is the first line of that we need to think about securing and locking down that access.
Yep.
Then we need to think about the appropriate RBAC policies in place for interactions with that cluster and how we do that. Okay, and then we need to move to the network layer.
Right, okay. So as we've secured all of that, we've kind of got this running over here.
Exactly. So let's assume we have, two pods, each with a container running in. This is service A and this is service B.
Yes.
Right. However, service A should not be able to talk to service B.
Okay.
How do we control that? So we need to implement network policies.
Right.
Okay. So these actually allow us to secure in code what services can talk to what services.
Important.
Very important. The next thing we need to think about is pod security policies.
Okay.
Okay, so we've done some fantastic work out here, got all our scanning in place, we've built a golden image, okay. Developer over here just pulls directly from Docker Hub and runs an Nginx container in here. Okay?
Yeah, not good.
Not good, but common.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so with things like pod security policies, we can ensure that we use images only from here, and we can sign those images with things like Notary, okay, and ensure the authenticity of the images running in a cluster. We can also do things like prevent containers running as root, which again is another very, very common thing, which isn't great to see. Once we've got our pod security policies in place, we now need to think about the runtime security of those pods, okay? So, for example, we have an application that we know exposes a service on port, port X, right? However, all of a sudden that pod starts exposing another port and we see traffic over a different port.
Yeah, something's up there.
Yeah, something a bit dodgy is going on, right? Okay, so what we want is a tool in place that will monitor our running instances, our images, so our containers, okay? And we want a way to define and code any sort of remediation tasks if something untoward occurs.
Okay.
Okay, so we can use things like AquaSec, Twistlock to do this monitoring and remediation. Some of these tools go even one step further, and use ML to build up a model of a typical behavior for a particular application. And once it detects something out of place, we can be alerted, or it can simply kill those containers.
Right. So all of this really is about being proactive from the outside in and making sure that everything is up to scratch.
Exactly that. Defense in depth.
Yeah, great term.
Great.
Thank you, James.
Thanks.